I haven't advertised myself in ages. And still to this day, people find me saying that they would like to work together with me. And I was quite reluctant to do that. I went off and I did something quite unofficial about my own professional research. I was trying to figure out a new way of working because I didn't like the previous ways. I didn't like my own previous ways of working. And when I put everything into the perspective of, oh, maybe that's why that when I created an offering that came from a sense of I have something that I believe is precious and worthy, and I want to share that with other people, that didn't quite resonate. Quite specifically, it resonated with the type of person that didn't feel good to my nervous system. And so I went away and I started to listen, and I started to work with people in a different capacity, and I started to collect people's needs, pain points, people's deepest desires that they don't really share, that they don't dare to share, that they don't have a marketplace for where to be open about and where to be honest about. And I did a lot of work one-on-one, especially with males, especially about their intimate psychology, their sexual psychology, where I recognized like some serious patterns. And if you were to say those patterns out loud in public, the reception of it is quite different. But in private, 99.9% of males admit to those patterns. And it was just quite a shocking revelation for me that there are certain things that don't belong to a public offering. There are certain things that are better off in the hidden underlying field, quite unspoken, quite to, if you were to collapse the waveform of potentiality and say that this is that one thing, if you're reducing a complexity into a categorization, into a definition, especially the male psyche has a tendency to reject that categorization. Males get very agitated and angry when you try to pigeonhole them, especially when females are questioning the male intention. Well-intended guys get very upset when a female is questioning whether they had good intentions or not. And it comes from a female insecurity, I guess, but it highlights the male insecurity as well. So the two insecurities are just rubbing each other the wrong way. And so the things that I'm coming back with, and the reason why I stayed away from the public eye for so long, is because I was going at it in a way that was directly in opposition with my energetic strength. I was going against myself, and I was bumping into my own roadblocks that I shouldn't have, or that I don't have to. So I'm realizing now that the way I work now and the way I worked out what I'm offering now is based on this omnipotential openness. And instead of trying to strictly categorize things, I'm learning, and I'm hopefully getting better at it. I'm learning how to ignite people's own potentiality and their own willingness to find their own way. And if anything, I enjoy being the facilitator for another person to find their own strength. And I'm highly sensitized against the emotional excitation trickeries and methodologies that are keyed to I have the solution for your problem. I'm very much against that. There is something in my energetic makeup that just goes, you don't fucking tell me what to do, how to do. That's not my way. I'm gonna do it my way. And that might just be my bioenergetic type or my personal makeup. But the people that I would like to work with are a quite specific, possibly quite a niche group of people, and I'm completely fine with that, who feel the same way that we feel frustrated and we don't quite know what's wrong. We cannot quite pinpoint what's wrong, but we don't want someone else to pinpoint what's wrong. We would like help and assistance. We would like a safe space where healing is facilitated and directionally shepherded without it being guided. Any kind of guided meditation or guided intention or fucking guided anything. I stopped doing that because that was just something that I copied from other people and I hated it so much. I hated doing that. I hate receiving it. I don't follow anything guided. It upsets me so much. So little mistakes like that, when I just try to look out there and copy and follow what's out there and try to find my own way in that, through that, and it didn't work out at all. Now I understand that probably the reason why it didn't work out is because where my strength lies is creating a like a hyperpotentiality, creating an oversaturated field, energetic potential that can become anything. I'm great at opening up the boundaries of I'm not able to, this is a block, this is something that I've never done before. Like I don't fucking know how or why, but it's a very common pattern with me that people that I've never met before and never spoken to before, within 5 minutes of a conversation, they start telling me things that they have never said to anyone before. That's a skill, and I had to recognize that as a skill, and I had to understand where that comes from and why that exists and why people latch onto something in my energetic system that they can connect with in a way that they might not want to connect with or cannot connect with in other biofields. So I started working with that, and to facilitate any kind of healing or change from that is a challenge. How do you have group anything? And I don't think I ever want to do online groups ever again. I think that was a misstep on my part. And I apologize for that misstep. I would love to work with people in person, in group. Love that. But I will only do that if there is an invitation. I will only work with people live, in person, if we figure out a way together how that feels good. If somebody wants to work with me, then I consider it, but I will never make an offering that just goes, here's my program, come do it with me. Never worked out for me, and I don't think it ever will. And now I'm not bitter about it, and now I understand why it hasn't. So I guess it's just a different way of understanding my energetic type. That's why I wanted to share a little bit about being a reflector and potentially being a little bit of a projector as well. Because when I read those descriptions, some of it was really prickly. Some of it really felt like that, oh, I'm not sure that I like that this is what I am. I'm not sure that I want to be this person. And if supposedly you're stuck with it, then how can I turn it around so that it is an asset rather than a liability? How can I turn it into a skill and a craft then that would make for an artful way of living instead of struggling and suffering through life, kicking a boulder in front of you, be like, I don't want to carry this shit around, or like dragging something with you, like a luggage that I don't want to carry this around for my whole life, but I guess I'm stuck with it. And that's just a very long-winded way of saying that I'm finding, based on this different energetic way, that I enjoy working with people so much more. And I find myself in the way that I work and the way that I represent myself so much more comfortably. It's just such a cozy little space that I was able to find and create and cultivate instead of the quite anxious way that I used to show up at work before. It was such a, both in film and in intimacy, I just felt like that I'm constantly questioning my own right to be here. And I think that's where the invitation comes into play, that I felt like I'm not wanted. I felt like I'm not invited here. I felt like that I don't belong here because nobody gave me the affirmation is not the right word for it. It's like it's permission is not the right word. It's they haven't energetically agreed. That's the right way of saying it. When an energetic type that sets a ground, an open, multi-option, multifaceted, energetic ground for communication, then whoever goes, I want to work with that, I want to do something with that, I want to be with you, I want to, I want to talk to you, I want to have a connection, then at that point, you have already offered an initial offering. You have worked on your own biofield, on your own energetic field, on your own energetic offering. And somebody else taps into that and goes, I recognize this feels good, or even if I don't recognize it, I want to be in the presence of it. I want more of this. I want to explore this. I want to get to know this. So in a non-direct energetic way, we still offer something, and the invitation is in agreement with our offering. So it feels like that on an unspoken, almost like telepathic level, we have already agreed. We are already in agreement, and that feels very good to my nervous system. If I just go, I don't care what anybody else says, this is me, and I'm putting myself out there, that feels very antagonistic to my biofield. It just feels like I'm pushing myself on other people. It feels like I'm forceful, energetically forceful with others. And that just doesn't feel good. So in professional situations, it's not successful. In personal encounters, it's not fulfilling. Like even if you get together with a person like that, you start doubting yourself very, very quickly. You start feeling like they don't actually want to be with me. They are just with me because I wanted that. I initiated this. I seduced them. I was the one who said that I want this and that, and they kind of agreed to it, but that doesn't feel good to me. So our energy type goes about making an agreement in a different way. And on, like, that's why I like, it's like soil is still above ground. I don't know what else, like roots. That would be a better way of putting it. Like, we're great at germinating. We're great at building roots. We're great at the underground work, the unseen work, the work that populates and allows for taking in nutrition, allows for grounding, allows for having a stable ground, a stable structure, then that would support whatever is above ground and visible. That's what we're great at. So it's not that we're waiting for someone with an empty plot of land or like a block of concrete that just goes, here's a bunch of soil, go make something with it. That would never work out for us. We're the ones who are cultivating that richness. And then someone just goes, here's a seed, grow that. And we're great at growing. Anywho.